Mexico, Paula, Ignasi. Super excited to get to speak with you both today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us, Victoria. It's also a pleasure to talk with you from so far away. And it's actually our first time on a podcast. So yeah, first time we're doing it.
Wow. Well, I'm super honored to have you both here.
Well, I'm Paula, co-founder and CEO of the Spanish startup Pulso, basically a software as a service that concentrates in a single platform, all the management of companies that rent sports equipment. So yeah, it's four of us in the founding team, but here I have with me Ignasi.
I'm Ignasi, CMO and co-founder of Pulso as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited to understand, well, for you to share your story with listeners because I already know it. But what inspired you and your team to start Pulso in the sports rental equipment market? Because it seems like a maybe dated space, and it sounds like you saw that and wanted to fill that gap.
Yeah, I think this is a very good question, and also it has a very nice story behind that. I actually am not sure if you know, Victoria. So
Ooh,
when the company
in.
was it's really curious. So when the company was born in 2021, the main idea was actually totally different. Both Ignasi and we love surfing, and well, I guess all the sports in general. And yeah, I remember that we were surfing with some friends in the south of France, and one of our surfboards broke. So then I started to get super pissed off, thinking why there's no any insurance for surfboards. And then at some point we were like, okay, let's do it then. And by that time it born Surfix. That was actually the original name of the company. So yeah, then we started all the process of market analysis, feasibility plan, etc. But then we also realized that if we wanted to offer insurance for the surfboards, we had to create also a technological platform that was allowing us to basically keep this tracking on the rentals and also on the repairs. So yeah, so we had it ready by that time. That was late 2021. And then we implement this pilot test in Alaya Bay. Alaya Bay is the world's leading artificial wave pool.
Wow.
So of course, they have a large rack of boards available for rent. Surfing there was also a dream. And now we are so blessed to have them as one of our main clients.
Wow.
But yeah, and then I remember after the pilot test that we had a meeting with their board of directors, and they were like, yeah, but we are not interested in the insurance. We just want the software itself that allows us to manage all the operation. And then it was like, wow, okay, let's sit down for a second and rethink things.
I think listening to the customer in your build, super important for being a successful company. And you're starting to see that, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely that was a turning point in the life of the company. We started thinking on, probably you've been through it as well, right? So each time that you rent equipment, if you go skiing, and I was thinking on how manual those processes were and all the queues that you had to make. So yeah, then we met together, all the founding team, together with our consultants. And then basically we saw that if we were doing this pivot, we were solving a real problem that probably anyone who has rented sports equipment will know about.
Yeah. Talk to me about that specific problem. Tell me about, what Pulso addresses.
Go ahead. Let's talk about the problem that we solved.
Yeah, for sure. We saw many problems. We saw many problems, not just on the company itself that rents equipment, but also on the customer experience. So I'm going to start by being a little bit about the company more. That indeed is where we are focusing our efforts and is where we are offering our product. There's a lot of problems over there in the old rental operation systems.
For sports equipment, right? Just that focused target market.
Yeah, exactly. Sports equipment for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of paperwork. You have poor communication in between employees. You have unfounded decisions because you don't have data. You have mess, and for sure you end up having a lot of costs. So all this makes the installation go not as smoothly as it should. So I think Pulso, what gives Pulso to these installations with our platform, it's time, efficiency, and data. Okay, so you have time that we have some data that we extract, that some facilities that are using our software, the processes are shortened by an average of 80%, more or less.
Wow.
And we are so pleased with this metric. We think it's so good because you ended up then like before having Pulso, like having lots of queues and all that stuff of people, but then this time shorten the time. Like, I think it's a very important metric. Then you have all the things of efficiency. For sure, you first, before Pulso, you usually do things by paper or by Excel. Okay, yes, it's okay, but then you end up losing all the paper, losing all the different types of things that you need to have, like, just when the customer arrives. So that I think is very important, the efficiency that Pulso gives to you. And then you also have the data that you extract, like who has the material at any given time, or average number of customers per day, or average number of rented equipment, which equipment breaks the most, reasons for material breakage. Then you have material representation, like you have like infinite list of things that makes all this data, then you can run your installation better. And then there's another part, like if you look at from the other side, you have all the things about the customer, how the customer can relate. Well, when the customer comes, the only thing that he wants is to get to do what he's renting.
The activity,
so if I'm going surfing, I want to go surf. Like,
right.
I'm probably near the beach, so I want to get into the water as soon as possible. If I'm going biking, the same as well. So you just want speed, you just want confidence, you just want like trust and transparency, and you want professionalism, because other ways you are not having the best experience you want.
Right.
So the problem was the queues, the bad equipment, the false claims, and much more. So I think Pulso gives, so the combination of the experience of the people that goes there and tries that equipment is the best one.
Certainly. And there's nothing else that really in this space like it. And, you're providing, these sports rental equipment companies, the opportunity to, better serve their customers. So I think that's awesome. And, you did talk a little bit about having to pivot, your product. Talk to me about what other challenges you faced getting your company off the ground, what your biggest learnings were from those challenges.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be very difficult to choose just one, because as you know, entrepreneurship is a constant challenge. Of course, what I was saying before, right? All the changing the business model was a big challenge, not just when it comes to the business, but also mentally, because you've been designing an idea for so long, and then suddenly you see that you have to change. But I mean, at the end, we knew that by that time that was the right decision. I think that I will say one of the biggest challenges that we had at the beginning, it was to build trust, because for Pulso, it's very important to have partners, key partners within the sports industry. So that could be brands, that could be federations, technology providers. So of course, imagine, right? So these big companies receiving a cold call from 22 and 23 years old guys talking about a software solution, and they were reluctant. But I mean, of course, that's normal. So I think that the point for us there was to trust ourselves in our product and show them the value that we were providing. And that's what we did, and to position ourselves where we are now.
That's awesome. Sorry, go ahead, Ignasi.
No, I was gonna say that more or less the same as Paula. And also there was something more talking into like internal problems, internal, like something that you face every day. It's about facing every day like different type of problems that you cannot know about, like you don't get this, you don't get to study this, you don't get to know what is going to happen if you respond this way or whatever. So I think that was another challenge
Definitely.
to make. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, you can study as much business as much as you want in school, but theory is so much different than practice.
Super
And
different.
understanding how to navigate those, definitely takes some skill and finesse. But I definitely think your approach of being customer centric and is the first step in the right direction.
For
So,
sure.
so you are, still growing really rapidly. What stages are you in right now in terms of building up your customer base? And are you looking to fundraise right now? Talk to me about who your ideal investment partner might be.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we actually started getting some traction, especially since the beginning of this year. And yeah, we are actually fundraising because we are seeking to grow our team, especially commercially. And of course, since we are a software as a service company, we look to invest in our product constantly. So when it comes to looking for an investment partner, I think something fundamental, and I guess most of the entrepreneurs agree with me, is that there is this compatibility and alignment of values. So let's say a common vision for the business, right? So you really want to work with someone with whom you share your vision for the future of the company, because that's what's going to make a successful collaboration, of course. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Of course, it's also essential that the investor can provide the necessary financing on a fair and equitable terms and conditions for both parties, of course. But I think that it really makes sense that the entrepreneurs we seek that support in terms of experience, expertise, especially if it's within the specific industry or growth stage that the company is in our case, right? So it could be sports industry, B2B companies, software as a service business models. So yeah, but basically someone that is committed long-term for the long-term success to your company and who's willing to work with you on decision-making and also facing problems, of course.
I love that. Yeah. And certainly I think you're in a really great spot right now in terms of being one of those early stage software as a service companies, especially in this environment. So, wishing you the best of luck in your raise. I'm super pumped that we were able to speak today. Do you have any last pieces of advice for entrepreneurs? Anything else you want to share about Pulso?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's always some knowledge to share, but I think, good advice that I've learned by myself is that basically, I think it's very important to remember the importance of surrounding yourself with people who support you and help you to grow. Try to seek for experienced mentors, advisors who can guide you and not only provide you with practical support, but also for emotional support.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important when it comes to entrepreneuring. And yeah, something that I really also repeat a lot to myself is that the failure should not be seen as something negative, but we learn that it's an opportunity to learn and also to grow the company.
I would say more or less the same as Paula for sure, but settle for nothing and expect nothing and just like don't stop working.
I love that. That's a very athletic approach to your organization, and I think that definitely reigns true. So thank you so much for sharing those pieces of advice. Super excited again for our conversation, and I'm super excited to share with listeners.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so
much. Thanks to you, Victoria. Yeah.